go ahead and record quick. Okay, so why don't we get started? I mean, you all know who I am, but I am Jen McNeil. Just a little background, because I think there might be a couple people who don't know, but I've been coaching for a little under 2 years actively. I started as a discount coach and decided one day that I was just going to go for it. And here we are. So, Andrea, Katie, and I had the amazing opportunity to head to LA for the New Leader Conference, which I'm sure you all on this call will be pushing for it this year. And really, it was like total shocker to me how wonderful it was, how much I learned. I did share with Katie, I think yesterday or a couple days ago, that I feel like I'm almost in a state of shock and paralysis, like not knowing how to move forward, because there just was so much information presented and so many great ideas, and really just a change in mindset was presented in a preach, yes, preach, that it's like, how do I take all of this and the feeling that we all had when we left and present it to everyone? And how do we shuffle through what we can do, practically speaking? So I think I'm choosing today the easiest topic to convey to you all. But what I want to say is that Carl opened, and oh my goodness, you guys, like his heart, his passion, it's just so what I want to work for in this business. So I don't know if that helps you all, maybe that'll help you out when you're feeling a little down about everything. But he opened, and he was telling a story about a performance wear line guy whose CEO came in to talk to him. I think it was that day or maybe the day before, and about how their company was like not doing well. And he said we all would have recognized the name. So I don't know if it was like Adidas or Nike or who knows, but, and how the guy was just talking about numbers and how they need to create, financial growth. And it was all about numbers. And it wasn't about changing lives. And he said he was so bored by the dude. And he's like, that's not what we're about here. If we're going after numbers of people just to grow us financially, we have it all wrong, and our businesses are just going to collapse. So that helped, because I've talked to a few coaches lately who have built their businesses that way, like that it's only about financial gains and it's not about changing lives. So that I think helped to bring me back to, why we're doing what we're doing. And if we're not changing people's lives physically, which leads to, in my opinion, an emotional change, we're not going to build stable businesses. So with that being said, Melanie Mitro, the top coach, opened with developing a recruiting culture. And I am basically going to work through her outline of this. And so if you have a pen and paper available, I've heard many of these concepts presented, but none as fluid and as organized as she's presented it. So she talked twice, but her first one was about developing a recruiting culture. The second time she spoke was on scheduling and time management. And while I'm not going to talk completely about time management, some of that was trickled through her recruiting culture. So she opened by asking us to think about this question: how do we recruit with purpose and strategy in order to attract the right people? And how am I going to offer a solution for what my people are looking for? Her three big points were, number one, we are not recruiting for a warm body, even though at times I feel like I am. To stabilize our businesses, obviously we're going to have discount coaches. And while I don't think they're warm bodies at all, because a lot of times they're doing our groups with us, we still want to be not just grasping anyone that we can get. Number two was we need to identify our niche market, and we need a plan to get this niche market on board. So I'm going to start with our niche market. And I want you all, as we're doing this, to start answering these questions. So hopefully you have a pen and paper there, because I want you to develop this niche market as we're sitting here. I want this to be practical. I want it to, right away, I want you to be able to apply this. So question number 1 is, who is your target audience or customer? So here's some ideas to get your mind going. And as I'm talking, go ahead and start writing them down. Is it are they mothers like you? Are they singles? Singles and looking to mingle? Are they business women who are really busy? Are they family-oriented people? Are they involved with their kids' sports or hobbies? Are they in the party scene? Like, start thinking about that. Basically, when I was doing this, when I started writing my list out, I was thinking, who am I? I'm a mom. My son's involved in baseball, so I'll be meeting moms at baseball. I volunteer in their schools, so moms at schools. My daughter's at dance, so I'm getting really specific when I'm writing these things down. Are they involved at church? I know you got to think about where you go each day. Where does your life take you? Number 2 is, how am I going to approach that person? And the way you can think about that is where would you find these people? Would you find them at the ball fields? Would you find them in the classroom when you're volunteering? Are you going to find them at work? So where are people like you? For me, it was at school, at church, at Starbucks. I'm here 4 days a week at this point because I drop my daughter off at school. Are they a Google expert, and you find them in Facebook groups too? If you feel like you're attracted to crafting Facebook groups, that would be a place that you would connect with someone. Number 3, this one I really liked. What are the biggest burdens they face? Is it they have a tight budget? Think about yourself, or maybe even about yourself before you started coaching. Are they in a really tight budget? Are they too busy for the gym? Or too busy to create healthy meals? They want to be home with their kids, or maybe they want to have kids eventually. Are they feeling like they're inadequate at what they're doing in life? Are they spread too thin? Do they have a low self-esteem? Those are the type of things that, when I started, I had a low self-esteem, but I felt like I was just going through the motions every day and not really developing my gifts or my strengths at all. So that was a problem, I guess, that Megan addressed with me. What are you doing to, you making these awesome meals, what are you doing to share that with other people? And so I felt like there was something missing in that little department. My last question, are your gifts untapped? Are their gifts untapped? Number 4 was, how are you going to offer them a solution to their problems? So, gosh, that music's so loud and distracting me. Is it really bad? I feel like asking. No, it's not. Okay. It's just me coming at me. How would you address their problem? One would be a challenge group if they don't have time for health and fitness. It's a coaching opportunity because they need to make a little income. I was hesitant to say this one because I feel like if there hasn't been that physical transformation or the emotional transformation yet, which there's a lot of people who jump on board and coach right away, but I feel like kind of just mute her. I feel like it's almost better when there's been that transformation for longevity purposes in some capacity. But there are some people who, have the heart for it right away and can jump right on board. So, and then how are you going to offer them a solution to their problems would be, are you going to give them systems that work? Are you able to say, here's this new coach training, which will get you started. I know you don't have a lot of time, but it's a 5-minute video a day you can tap into and answer questions and give takeaways. And number 5 is what makes my offer different from Erin's offer or Lauren's offer or Sarah Whiteside's offer? What makes me different and what's going to attract them over someone like you? Because we're all going to attract different people. There may be some overlapping, but I think as we start to really narrow down what our niche market is, we'll start attracting people who are more like us. And it's interesting to me to think about because my coaches that are most successful on my team are probably the ones who are most like me. When I think about it, they're the most similar to me because, I'm able to give them what I needed. Like I can provide that to them because they have similar needs to myself. So it's interesting to look backwards at that, that the people who I was like, oh, they're going to nail this, and they weren't anything like me, aren't doing as well in my group. So it's just an interesting thought. So with that information or those questions, you can really put together like an avatar of what you're looking for. And I know we talked about that. I forget which coach did a really good training on that. It'll come to me eventually, but you can write it out like the person speaking. So you have like a big paragraph of what your avatar would look like, and even find an image of what that person would look like. Could be like a mom who's, slightly overweight with her family. So after you have that identified, I think that's huge because then when you're speaking to your people, you're going to have that specific person in mind when you're creating your posts, when you're creating your monthly plan. So we're going to move into next, creating a monthly plan, a marketing plan, almost a marketing campaign. And Melanie does this every single month. She has a new one. She picks a theme and she goes with it. So if you follow her at all on Facebook right now, it's her theme this month is Make Your Body Your Biz. And I've been seeing it like all over my Facebook feed. It's in my feed. It's over on the side. She sponsors ads, and they all tie into making your body your biz. She also she did one called Busy Women Build a Biz. She picks a theme and bases everything off of it. So what she does before she gets her month rolling each month is she puts out a team calendar, which will include the business opportunity, and I'll go into each of these things in detail, her sneak peek. She will even schedule when she's going to put her blog post out, and she shares it with her team. So this is something I'm going to be implementing for the month of February. And I think she does it in Google Calendar because it's easily shareable. I was going to try to use my iCal, and it's not as good. I don't think it's not as shareable. It's not as, she has it all color coordinated, like when her groups will start, so that her groups or her team can follow that same schedule. And they know when that webinar is going to be, kind of like Megan has done for us. We know when her webinars are going to be. We know when her sneak peeks are going to be. I've been really good about sharing with my team when my groups are going to be, my 5-day and my 21-day. But over the past 2 months, I've been consistent with when my sneak peeks are. But it's something that we need to have there every single month so our team knows when it's going to be occurring. So she, prior to doing this campaign, so my guess is she's working on right now, or she's probably already has been for February. She uses blog posts, and I don't think do any of you blog? You do, Lauren? Lindsay? Great. You do, Megan? I don't. I said once my daughter is in kindergarten in the fall, that's my goal, is to start blogging. But that's where all her traction comes from. So she has a blog post where she embeds a coach application, there'll be a link for the coach application. She'll tie in her YouTube trailer. She does a YouTube trailer talking to everyone about what she's looking for in a coach. She creates, right after she does her blog post, all of her images for the month. And they're all tweaked a little bit, so they look similar. They have the same theme, but she gets it all done ahead of time. So then it's just putting them up, changing the wording and how she's doing stuff. So all of those things can go onto her calendar. Oh, and the new coach training is included as well. She does her sneak peek the 3rd week of every month, and puts a little pressure on them for her new coach training, which starts just a couple days after the sneak peek. So Megan has followed that system, which is great for us because we've seen that down the tube. So she starts by going live by using her blog post as an information source. So for us who aren't blogging, that's a little bit harder because, you know, you're going to have to be referring back to like specific Facebook posts or rewriting them over and over. But she uses her blog as her information source. She shares it on Facebook and Instagram. She makes a square image so she can share it easily on Instagram or Facebook. You know, it's kind of universal. Twitter as well. Who uses Twitter? Does anyone here use Twitter? Monkey see, monkey do. Megan doesn't use Twitter much either, so why would we, right? And then she embeds the coach app, like I said, and then talks about this. This was a big thing for me. I think a lot of times we as coaches just put something out once or twice, and we're like, oh, people are going to be annoyed with me. They're seeing it. She does this every day for 2 weeks. She talks about it daily, talks about her business opportunity post and her sneak peek. Every day, daily, sometimes twice, 3 times a day. So she uses those different posts. She might use the same one a couple times throughout those weeks, but she said it's like a little sprinkling of her everywhere. There's sprinkling on YouTube, sprinkling on her blog. It's out there, so people. She's like, you don't realize how many people you're missing when you post. You know, if you're only posting in the evening, which obviously we know is the ideal time. There's some people who might only sign on in the morning and see it. And she's like, and here you're worried about what people think about you because you're putting it out there too much. So she sprinkles it throughout, and she creates a sense of urgency in all of her posts. So, you know, I'm excited to have, you know, a certain amount of people join me for this upcoming sneak peek. Now, when she started breaking down her business opportunity call, which Megan calls them the webinars, she said her first one she did, she had one person sign up for it, and it was a coach on her team. She said, do it anyways, because how bad does it look if the next day someone comes to you and says, oh, I wanted to hop on and I didn't. Is there a recording for that? So she said, it gives you credibility. Even if nobody shows up, you do it anyways. You have one of your coaches hop on, you do it. You know, yeah, is it difficult to be like, I'm the only one on here, I'm talking to nobody? She's like, but it looks unprofessional if you weren't to go ahead with it. It helps people take that leap of faith because they get the details. We all know this. I mean, I didn't jump on board till I watched, not the one Megan did, but Trina Gray, her business opportunity one. It needs to be done monthly. So I'm doing my first one in February. I've never done one before. I'm scared out of my mind. But she said, make sure you have another coach on there so you can kind of talk about it afterwards, and they can give you advice and tips. And then make sure you record it so you can use it as you invite people throughout the month. But every month it needs to be done, every single month. So she said, you know, that develops leadership and confidence. It puts yourself in a position to be viewed as a leader. And to me, it's like almost that fake it till you make it attitude. Like, yeah, you may not have, I don't even think I'll get, but maybe 1 or 2 people from me personally. But I think it's probably part of, okay, you know, it's time to take the next step. And I think for all of us, anyone who's a diamond or above probably should be doing it. I was a scaredy cat. I always piggybacked on Megan's. But it's that fake it till you make it. She said, make sure your images are eye-catching when you're advertising for these things. You need to do something to make it stand out, make it uniquely yours too. I think if you're, you know, taking your uplines always, I think you shouldn't reinvent the wheel, but something is lacking when I feel like, especially when you're a leader, you're a diamond, you're a leader. If you're just taking your coach's stuff, do you agree, you guys? Like, I feel like it's not as authentic. It's not as you. So I would encourage you all at this point, like, to be using your own stuff primarily for attracting people to those webinars. So yeah, your coach may be running it, but you can make yourself a little image of you at Summit or you at Super Saturday and talking about what this opportunity has done for you. She said it also builds confidence in yourself as a coach. The more you put yourself out there, following these schedules and these systems. Make sure when you're doing it that you're shifting words around in your post, so it's not the exact same copy paste post over and over. It should be tweaked a little bit different each time. And she also said that when your coaches start posting about it, we should be reviewing our coaches' posts and kind of giving them feedback. So my girls especially, if you get feedback, it's because Melanie Mitro told me to do it. But she said you should constantly be reviewing your own coaches' posts and giving them just advice as you move forward. Make sure that you set a goal each month for attracting people to your business, for adding new coaches. And each month it needs to be tracked. And each month it needs to increase in number. So this month my goal is to sign 12 coaches. Next month it's going to be sign 13, because according to Melanie, that's what it should be. If we're not moving along, we're going to be moving backwards, basically. So adding, one a month from the previous month is a good goal. And then constantly putting them through the pipeline of getting them in your your uplines trainings. If you're not getting them plugged in, and if you're not engaging them in those new coach trainings, they're not going to move forward. Your business won't go forward. Their business is going to become stagnant. So really make sure you get them going. My top 3 takeaways, they had us after every training, they had us write down our top 3 takeaways for how it will help us reach elite. Because the whole goal of the New Leaders Conference is to get all those coaches who are there elite for 2016. So my top 3 takeaways were develop my niche coach, my avatar, do a business opportunity webinar every month, and then have my calendar for my team, which includes the sneak peek, the business opportunity, and when my new coach training would begin. So that was basically her first chat with us. She did a whole nother call. I don't know if maybe Katie will eventually do this, or maybe Andrea. I think we're each going to take different, talks from that and share. But her calendar, she's a machine. Her calendar system is ridiculous, and she is so disciplined, but that's why she's the top coach, right? So, but if anyone wants to unmute themselves, I hope you got something from that. To me, it was the easiest to share with you all. The other ones I'm not even ready to process some of it yet. So I'm implementing Melanie's this month, and then I'm going to move forward the next month. I'm going to try to work on another. So I think for me, that's how I have to work, so that I don't flip out and freak out. So if anyone wants to unmute themselves, you can ask me anything from the conference. Has anyone made their avatar yet? Have you done that before? Who's the coach that don't you remember there's a training, it was in Megan's Diamond training where she shared. Yeah, who was it?
Was it Dan Tony or?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Karen, who was it? You were Kayla. I'm like, Karen, who was it? I'm gonna put her on the spot.
I thought it was a blonde, long hair blonde. I can't remember which one. Katie Hefner, maybe? No, you know who it was? Chelsea Pearson. Was it Chelsea Pearson? I think Chelsea Pearson is the one who did it. Yeah.
Is my avatar like my Patsy Claremont and
you're the only one I know that already had an avatar. Yes. Okay. You did it. You nailed it. Anything else? Goodness. Do you want me to review the technology stuff?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you put an end date on the posts that you put on your like page for advertising the business opportunity, or for anything else for that matter, or do you just leave them up?
Like if I do an ad, is that what you're talking about?
Well, an ad, or like with Melanie posting, 14 days in a row about the business opportunity or the sneak peek. Do you leave those up, or do you put an end date on them so they're not up indefinitely?
I would leave them up and just say, this is the date that it starts, and otherwise you're gonna have to wait for the next round. So I would leave them up. I
guess I just meant from a standpoint of like having your feed be kind of like polluted with too much of the same thing.
Well, she does everything from her like page, so yeah.
Have you noticed on your like page where you can schedule an end date for your posts?
Yes, I've only done that with my sponsored ads. So
okay, I was just curious.
I think we leave them up so that if someone's coming to your page, they know what you're doing. I'm not taking them down once I put them up there.
Okay, sounds good.
Once I'm brave enough to get them up there, they're staying up.
And I have another question.
Sure.
I was thinking of taking all my discount coaches
Mm-hmm.
and putting them in a separate group, and maybe perhaps giving them your sneak peek a bit at a time to them, so they don't realize they're getting
What you're doing. That's a good idea.
Also adding perhaps
You froze up, Beth, right? Am I the only one?
so I'm just
There we go.
wondering, could I take your stuff and then divide it into little
Absolutely.
sections?
Yep. My stuff was pretty much Megan's stuff, just so you know. So yeah, totally. Take it and use it.
So everybody, don't tell my people.
Yeah,
You'll never know.
that's a good idea. I've never thought to do that. I've had a couple of discount coaches start working just from being in my team page and seeing, but that's an interesting approach.
Well, your team page is awesome to get your discount coaches in, because mine apparently pay attention to yours.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. They comment and everything.
Yeah, they do. It's good. Anything else? I'll share real quick on the technology stuff. I did put that post up while we were there, but just so you all know, John Cogden talked about, the technology challenges they've had, and basically said that the engine is growing faster than they can keep up. And we just keep growing and growing and growing, which is amazing, and they can't keep up with it. So they did talk, I forget where it was, where they talked about how maybe it was at Summit, I think, where they hired someone who ended up leaving, and it was there was friction or whatnot. But they said that they've officially had like the right people in place. And of the 925 people at headquarters, 250 of them are tech people, not customer service. So they're just purely there to make our technology systems better. So the initiatives that they're working on this year are cleaning up the back office and being able to do it from our phones, all business from our phones. So I'm guessing that means an app for online app for, I don't know if that'll be so cool if it's like a little back office app. The second thing they're going to work on is having a backup system in place. So if it goes down, that it would open up somewhere else. I know like my husband's company, they have two, I forget what they're called. Those big things where all the technology is hosted. They have a backup system in another state if there's a hurricane down in Florida. So it'll be something similar.
Servers.
Servers. That's what they're called. Yes. And then number 3 was there'll be a new shopping website and a new mobile shopping website. So an app, I'm assuming, for that as well. And there are plans to go international, but they wouldn't say where yet. So we'll see. They'll be interesting. The other thing he mentioned is that like tech professionals, it's just the most highly competitive profession out there right now. So it's really hard to keep people because they can find a better job. They're bopping around. It's very fluid. So I don't know. It made me feel a little bit better about it. It's not like they're not trying. They know, they recognize it. There are some, what Stephanie Marsilio always says, an opportunity for growth rather than problems. So I liked hearing all about that.
I want Lauren to show us that beautiful baby.
I know. Hold that baby up. Where is she?
My husband is changing a poop explosion
Oh, nice.
downstairs, so he took her off my hands for a few moments.
Awesome.
Yep.
Andrea, do you want to add anything, or you want to wait till your turn?
I can share, but you guys just have to pretend like you can see me because for some reason my computer camera doesn't want to work. My husband updated like all the fancy software on my computer, and everything I have finding like I have to reinstall all of these things, and yeah, it's a nightmare. So, but anyway, I think Jen, I think you did a great job. That was probably the presentation that I took the most away from. I mean, like she said, we learned so much. Coming home, I've been a little bit just overwhelmed with trying to figure out how to implement everything because I really want to. And it was such amazing information. But then we're home and we're moms again, and it's just like, okay, wait a minute, let's figure out what we can implement now. And I think this training that she just shared with you guys it really like blew my mind at how terrible I am at recruiting. And I say that from a 5-star Diamond Elite standpoint. I'm still learning so much about recruiting and not recruiting for that warm body mark. That was just like completely like blew my mind because I kind of recruit for that, but I really do need to change up my strategy and recruit more for success. And so I think if we can kind of change our mindsets now for you guys at this rank, at this diamond rank, if you can change it now, imagine how much your business is going to grow, and how not only that, but you're going to be recruiting people that, I don't know which of the leaders said this, but recruiting people that light your soul on fire to work with, that want to work, that we don't feel like we're dragging around, that really want to do it. And that's what makes such a huge difference. So really, I learned so much. This is what I shared last night on my team call. Exactly what I gave an outline essentially of what Melanie talked about too, because I just felt that it was extraordinary. So I hope you guys took a lot of notes and we'll, kind of give this a go and possibly now we, kind of change our mind shifts away from recruiting being so scary and such a thing that we kind of avoid and put off last on the power hour and only do it so we can check off the box and really, because I don't know about you, but that's what I do, and really kind of change our focus and think about recruiting for success and bringing people in that really, want to go for this. And Melanie is definitely a machine, and what she's doing is certainly working. So hopefully you guys got some great tips. You can always ask any of us. I'm going to be sharing about something from the conference. I'm not sure which one yet, but I'm going to be sharing as we continue to process it all. But if I can give you one tip, it's got to get there next year.
So one other thing, and then I'll let y'all go, is not only will we be working with people we like better, I think our businesses will be more stable when you grow it this way rather than just throwing them in there. So be available to relish. Hold on.
Wait.
Oh, read this is due. Yes, I'm recording, so you can have this, Beth, after. All right, girls. Thanks for being on. Thanks for listening. Hope you got something good from this.
Oh, Mama.
All right, have a great day.